Ahoy! Welcome back to the Captain's Log. This is episode 5. So we've made it past a month of doing the Captain's Log. And the time's gone so quickly. It's been very surprising, actually, how quickly this has gone. I did not feel as though I was 5 episodes in. So here I am, still here in Canggu in Bali, Indonesia. And still going to continue the same format, which is 3 things I learnt this week that will help me make better decisions next week, and 5 things that went well. And also, just to let you know, today I am actually recording this podcast. I'm actually standing on a couple of soul steps, David Weck soul steps. So I'm doing this at my standing desk. I got myself set up with a standing desk a couple of weeks ago. And I have changed my workspace here, but I've actually got these really awesome little wedges under my feet that are supposed to actually correct your posture. And it's very interesting, the work of David Weck. So definitely check that out if you can. Soul steps. Gonna try these with the kettlebells. So 3 things that I learnt. The first thing I learnt is don't change your plans to wait for somebody who's kind of fitting you in between their schedule. I was really disappointed about doing this week. I had a friend visit Bali, and they were, going to be in Canggu to get some tattoos done, and then I was supposed to meet up with them, and then time got pushed back. No fault of theirs, obviously, but the tattoo was they had quite a few tattoos to get done. That's fine, but that day was my content creation day, and so I'm kind of like disappointed with myself that I even though I didn't know an exact time of when I was supposed to be meeting this person, I let myself kind of like not do the things I needed to get done that day because I was waiting for somebody else on someone else's time. And I think it's more just disappointment for myself because I realize more and more, and I've mentioned this to you guys, is that when your time is so valuable because you're literally like, there is so much stuff I have to get done in a week. It's just me. I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing this content. I'm actually doing 2 podcasts. I got 2 client projects going on at the same time. I've got multiple projects. I've got 2 clients with multiple projects. In different continents around the world. And I'm also building my own business, building my own community, online community, building out modules, learning materials. So like my time is so valuable. And then when you also think about on top of that, training, I want to keep fit. I'm doing my kettlebells, I'm doing my training, I'm going to get back to jiu-jitsu very soon. So the time to me is like gold. And when I don't use it wisely, or I don't squeeze every drop out of my time, and that also includes downtime, having time to relax without having anything that you have to produce during that time, just time to relax, read, whatever. But that time to me is gold. It's gold. So I've got to be very protective of my time in a lot of ways. And so just doing that this week, just kind of like, I'm like, don't do that again. Make a time. Make sure you can meet that person, and if it's tentative or it's going to get pushed out, I just won't do it. So that was one learning. And the next one is systems calm my anxieties. So I started actually building my second brain this week. I know I've been mentioning this to you guys the last couple of episodes, but I actually started building this thing, and I did a masterclass this weekend, just a free masterclass on YouTube to build the second brain in Notion. And so I've done my first iteration, and I've created my second brain with applying the Para method, Tiago Forte's Para method, which I have mentioned here before. And I'm still modding it out and customizing it to my needs. But I'm noticing how this is making me feel really prepared for my week ahead, because now I have a place for all my things, all my thoughts. And I'm it's so cool, this whole, capture and organize and then put it into my areas and into projects. And even just with this captain's log, I've got this format, which is, what are 3 things that I learned, and what are the 5 things that are worked well. And now I actually have this template, this captain's log template here. So I just I've made a database of these episodes, and so I just click on create new template in my database, and then it gives me this format here. I don't know if you can see that. Obviously you can't on Spotify, but you can see that template there on my phone. So now I've actually got documentation of these episodes, kind of like a running diary or log in here now in my Notion, in my database. So this, I notice, just makes me feel so good. Like I've got a structure, I've got a form. Form really gives you freedom. Structure gives you freedom. Discipline gives you freedom. So when you have that frame, and you can hold the frame like that, it just gives you a platform to be able to, collect more things, learn more things, do more things, because you've got a place that keeps a structure. So I'm really loving that. I'll actually post the masterclass link that I did down in the description, so you can check that out. And it wasn't my it's not my masterclass, obviously. It's the one that I did. It's a guy named Thomas something. So I'll put that link. It was really cool, actually. And so I think even just noticing doing that with my clients, creating tools for them to organize their thinking, it really does help with the anxiety of running a business or a very fast growing company, because you're kind of able to kind of keep everything together. So I do really see the value in that. And the third thing is that I obviously building the leadership community. I'm thinking about the modules. I'm thinking about what's the first things I'm going to be putting on there. How am I going to start building the culture? Obviously, because you can't create culture, but you have to create the environment for culture to grow. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do first? I think the first thing I thought to do was to put up some modules around complexity and leadership and complexity. I'm like, it's too much to do straight off the bat. So I think I'm creating more mods to have interactions between the members when they join the community, introduce themselves, break the ice. And I was chatting to my crewmate, Joe Death, this week, and she's really amazing. She's very good at asking questions, and I love catching up with Joe. And just she mentioned something really, really cool to me, and I'll share that with you guys, is that she's like, hey, Rick's like, well, shared norms build culture. And I'm like, yeah, tell me more about that, Joe. She's like, well, shared norms build culture, and in particular what that is shared values, beliefs, and artifacts. Cultures have values, beliefs, and artifacts. And I'm thinking about the leadership, and I'm like, well, what are our shared values, beliefs, and artifacts? And we had a conversation about that. And I was thinking with Joe about, do I, include everyone in the community to actually design those values, beliefs, artifacts? Maybe some of the artifacts. But what we came down to was, well, actually, no, let's get the purpose and the values, and then invite people in that align with those values. And then maybe the community can support in designing some artifacts. And I'm going to put a few artifacts out there. I've got a map about company structure and strategy and things like that, and some other models and things that I've been creating around purpose-led organizations the last 10 years. So I can chuck some of those in there. But I think the community is obviously going to have some artifacts that kind of come out of it. So, we'll be a part of creating that. But I'm really thinking about the values now, like what are the values of leadership, and what kind of values do we want within the community? And I've been really sitting with that this week. So I think that's how I'm going to start. I think I'm going to go back to the values. I'll share with you guys my process on that. I think I should have them by next week, a first cut, so I can bring that to the next captain's log. And if you have any ideas or anything, and you wanna make a comment, then please do. Be very interested to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, so that's where I'm starting with that, and I'm excited about this leadership. I think it's coming together nicely. We've got some really awesome participants who have signed up or put their names on the waiting list to join the leadership. So it's going to be really cool. Like top level like executives and leadership. Like it's very, very cool who's coming to be a part of that, and also like global, like all around the world. So like I said, I'm going to have to sort out 2 calls so I can get the time zones. 5 things that went well this week is I made some really good ground on my second brain. It's looking really cool, and if you're interested to know more about that, then let me know in the comments below, because I could potentially do a Loom recording or something on it if you want to see inside what I've built for my second brain. Still a work in progress, as mentioned, but it's looking pretty cool. I'm really liking it. I also got into the training this week. I have got back into doing my regular kettlebells. I trained at least 4 times this week, 4 kettlebell sessions, and feeling really strong. I do love the kettlebells. I'm going to start ramping it up a bit more. Going to dial a bit more in with my nutrition. So I've got some meeting this week with a nutritionist. I'm going to sort out some meals and start getting my nutrition on track as well, and see what changes that makes for me. And also did some really great client work this week. We did some good work with my client Graham in Botswana. We got him set up. His team's running a really good sprint, actually. They're doing their scrums, and I worked with Graham on building out a bit of his second brain as well. Actually, we're just working on projects. So basically, we just mapped out all the projects going on with all his businesses, and then I've created like templates for those and project templates for those within his Notion. So we're going to now be able to keep track on every one of those projects as they move through their processes. So he's working on a couple of restaurants, a reno, and a few other things. A reno is Australian for renovation, by the way, if you're not an Aussie and you're listening to this. Australians cut words and put O's on the end. So we're going to, just be able to see things objectively, be able to dip into those projects, put notes, images, documents, statuses, tasks, and I'll start building out some databases with those projects within his Notion. So that's just for him to be able to see that there. Definitely, I know what it's like for me. Now that I've got my second brain going, it's like, it's a bit of a relief, because like everything's in there. I can see my whole scope of work and all the areas in my business, and it's all in one place, and it's very easy to search and find things. I also onboarded my friend Ethan onto the Love Out Loud project this week, which is really cool. So Ethan is a designer. He was actually our intern at Wordplay, and I worked with Ethan, probably over a year, working with Ethan on some projects. We did the rebrand of Surf Life Saving together, and so Ethan's got some good design miles under his wing now. So he's coming on to do the Love Out Loud little brand consolidation with me and Love Out Loud team. So that's pretty cool. And it's nice to be able to work with somebody that I've worked with before, and I know does very good work. So we should have some fun with that project. So that went well. And I've also been the 5th thing is I've been reading this latest drop from Harvard Business Review, actually, Leading Through Uncertainty. Or maybe it's Leading Through Change. And it's firstly, I just want to say that it's nice to make time to read. It's not something that I've done much recently. I've had my Kindle. I've been carrying it around with me as a travel, but I haven't really been reading at all, really. I've just been so busy with trying to consolidate and restructure things over here that I haven't really had the space or time, or made the space and time to sit down and read. So I saw this drop and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I'm kind of like interested in and working on. So I was got this loaded on my Kindle and I started reading this latest publication of theirs. And something really interesting about it is that I'm so on the money. Like, it's like all the stuff within this in this publication is from a lot of peers, a lot of people that I've heard of, but I haven't actually met, that are working in the leadership and transformation and change space. And what I find really interesting about it is that a lot of the stuff that they're saying is like so intrinsically part of my ethos and my way of working. I just am like so perfectly placed to be of support to leadership at this time. It's like I've got the design skills, I've got the capability in collaboration design. I know how it is to be uncomfortable, go through change. I know brand, I know identity. So it's like there's all these parts of that I am just like perfectly placed to build this community for leadership and to share some of these skills with leaders and help to build better leaders in this world, and just to be in service for that change, that transformation, and to hold space like while we go through this time in the world where we don't know what's going to happen. Things are moving so quickly, and just to be to be comfortable with that and to be courageous and to be able to just lean into that and lead. It's just, yeah, I'm just getting a lot of confirmations, a lot of like green lights from the universe right now. That's just like, yep, go. And so I'm just in full trust, and I know that I can add a lot of value. And I can really be of a big support to leadership. So just a real confirmation there for me. Some really great work in that publication, and I love reading some of these articles and experiences and learnings from peers that are working in change and transformation. It's like there's so many parts to this. It's psychological, it's emotional, it's systems, it's identity, it's political. It's like, it's so intricate when you're doing large scale change. And then again, it's fractal. So it's what's the impact on the people within these organizations going through this change as well. It's a big web, a complex web. And I just find it so fascinating and really love reading some of these case studies and these articles from some of my peers. So, little bit of a quick episode today. That's pretty much it from me this week. What else can I tell you? I think that's it really. I don't need to keep going. But if you have any questions, if you want to know anything about the leadership, if you've got any questions about leadership, or if you've got any questions around transformation, brand, identity, anything, if you're going through some kind of change and you're interested in joining the leadership, then put your submission in, get on board. I'm not going to let every single person that wants to join the leadership join. So, be conscious about what you write on your bio and on your entry to the leadership. And I think I should have it up and running in the next couple of weeks, just to start trickling people in. But I want to make sure I have the right container and the right people to start building the culture. And that's it. Smooth sailing, everyone. Have a great week. Ciao.